The evil business of Nestle. Child labor, manipulating customers, environmental pollution, working with dictators, and price fixing. Those are clearly not the words you want to see associated with your company. Nestle is actually the world's largest food company, with a history that would make even the most hardcore industrialists tremble. So, hang on tight, because in this video, we're going to explain why Nestle has such a bad reputation and is dubbed the evilest company of all time. Nestle always tops the list when it comes to the world's most corrupt and unethical companies. It is one of the world's largest companies, with hundreds of goods sold all over the world. It dominates the packaged food market. Nestle has about 339 million people in 447 factories in 189 countries. But why is a company with such influence and market power labeled as evil and unethical? Let's begin with its history. Nestle began its adventure in Switzerland in 1867 when Henry Nestle created the company. He planned to develop his own line of milk-based baby formula for newborns who couldn't get enough breast milk for various reasons. Even if the formula contained only dried milk, vegetable oils, and sugars, the marketing of the company has led to many believing that the formula is necessary for their baby's growth and well-being and that the breast milk is insufficient. You can see how misleading this is because most medical experts believe that only breast milk is the greatest nourishment for babies. The company is also facing so many lawsuits for other frauds and unethical practices it has committed. Despite this, the company maintains its dominance, raking in billions of dollars every day. Here are the reasons why Nestle is believed to be the evilest and most hated company in the world. Nestle infant formula scandal. Nestle has over 2,000 brands around the world, the most popular of which is the baby formula. But the company's product has a dreadful track record. In the 1970s, the company expanded its baby formula market and began advertising its formula as better than breast milk, aiming to manipulate customers by spreading the story that its formula is good for babies and provides all of the nutrients that breast milk lacks. Medical experts were even bribed to testify on their side. This is so unethical that no one can argue with it. The advertisements encouraged mothers to use infant formula instead of breast milk. The most terrible thing Nestle did was hire saleswomen in developing countries of Africa and Asia and assign them to give medical advice to moms and hand them free baby formula samples. Because the women were dressed as nurses, undereducated mothers in undeveloped nations believed them. The free samples were carefully weighed and packaged to last just until the moms became totally dependent on the formula and stopped lactating. The company's horrible PR stunt led to the death of thousands of infants because the mothers were swapping Nestle's infant formula for breast milk. This left the babies deficient in the essential nutrients that breast milk provides. The worst impact was in the developing countries of the world, where women were unknowingly starving their children by diluting the formula with extra water to save money. Breast milk contains all of the nutrients required for a baby's development and immune system. With a lack of breast milk, the infants from underdeveloped countries with no access to clean water suffered from a variety of diseases and died. Thousands of babies died as a result, and the formula was dubbed baby killer by the media. When the problem became more serious and individuals began to protest, the World Health Organization enacted an international code of breast milk substitutes in 1981. However, the harm had already been done. To clear its name, the company began mentioning in its ads that breast milk cannot be replaced. Even though the company is doing everything it can to clean up its infant formula's image after the baby killer disaster, including promoting ads that encourage moms and discuss the benefits of natural milk, they're still pushing the infant formula from bribing doctors and countries with lenient laws and still getting away with it. Nestle's packaged water. Nestle is also a major producer of packaged water bottles. The bottles are made of single-use plastic, which pollutes the environment and causes the deaths of millions of sea creatures. According to various reports, the majority of the plastic bottles collected during beach cleanups are Nestle brands, proving that Nestle is a major contributor to water and land pollution. And it's not only the plastic bottles that are bad for the environment. The water in the bottles is just as bad, if not worse. Almost all of the water in Nestle's packaged bottles come from the ground, regardless of the fancy imagery of springs, lakes, and mountains on the labels. Nestle has been accused of exploiting and selling groundwater in regions where the public needs it the most. It is completely unethical and environmentally harmful. Nestle is blamed for taking water sources from nations where people are forced to drink polluted water in order to supply their bottled water plants. In 2013, the company started diverting abundant clean water from Pakistani residents to use for their factories, giving the population no choice but to drink sewage and sludge water. It's not just in Pakistan. The evil Nestle is doing the same thing in a number of developing countries with abundant natural resources. The corporation can easily exploit them due to tax regulations. Child labor. Nestle sells a variety of chocolate products made with cocoa, which are acquired through forced child labor. In the 2000s, the corporations and some other chocolate companies were accused of using child labor to produce cocoa for the chocolates. By 2005, Nestle claimed to solve the problem and create ethically correct products. However, it has done little to address the problem. According to the company, the majority of unpaid child labor in chocolate production is done by children who work on their parents' farms because the farmers can't afford school and need all the help they can get to afford food, shelter, and other necessities. The reasoning is ridiculous though, because Nestle is the one that pays them, so they should do something to support the farmers who work for them. They should provide help and increase the amount of money paid to farmers. They attempted to improve their image by adding fair trade marks on their labels to show that the chocolate bars are produced with ethically sourced cocoa, but this didn't solve the key problem, which was the illegal child labor. They still have farms and plants where children are forced to work, but they haven't done much about it and don't provide any evidence that the things they sell are produced ethically. Environmental pollution. As previously mentioned, the company's plastic water bottles are the main culprits of water and land pollution. In fact, the single use of plastic is the primary reason for littering and water pollution. According to the company, all single-use plastic bottles will be replaced with recyclable ones. However, no progress has been made in that department yet. Not only are the plastic bottles harmful to the environment, but the waste produced by the company's factories also damages the environment and marine life. In 2020 in France, a Nestle milk powder plant released its biological waste into the local water bodies, killing nearly 3 metric tons of fish. Even after making many promises and claims about reducing plastic waste and use, the company's share of reusable, recyclable plastic has increased by only 1%. According to the most recent records from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, the corporation has done nothing and made no progress in the environmentally safe sector and has made no effort to address the waste they generate. Working with dictators. You'd think supporting and partnering with dictators would be too far for even the evilest companies in the world. But in 2009, it was reported that Nestle was buying 15% of its milk from a farm that was owned by the wife of Robert Mugabe, the then president of Zimbabwe. The farm has been illegally seized by the Mugabe regime as Zimbabwe's economy collapsed. Plus, human rights activists have recently called on Nestle to stop purchasing ads on state-controlled media in Belarus, the last dictatorship in Europe, where 1 out of every 3 commercials on state TV promotes a Nestle product. This isn't average propaganda. This is a Nestle-sponsored network where political dissidents are constantly pushed into forced confessions on air. Price fixing. In Canada, Nestle Canada's offices, as well as those of Hershey Canada Incorporated and Mars Canada Incorporated, were raided by the Competition Bureau as part of a price-fixing investigation. Nestle and other corporations were subject to class action lawsuits and eventually settled for $9 million without actually accepting the liability. Plus, Nestle Canada's former president is facing criminal charges. Another trial in the United States was rejected because while it was likely that the same thing happened in the United States, there was no clear proof of any foul play. However, the suspicion remained and still lingers with the company. Final words. Nestle is a multi-billion-dollar company with complete dominance in the market. Despite engaging in various unethical and illegal activities, they have always been able to get away with it due to their power, wealth, and influence in lawmaking as a big corporation. The brand has a strong marketing game and the ability to influence its customer base through ads and bold promises and claims, but the reality is way worse than imagination. That's actually why the company has been labeled the evilest company of all time. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed today's content and found it helpful, make sure to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, and please let us know your opinions about today's video in the comment section below. Stay blessed.